Hello, and welcome to African Folk Tales with Sensei I.P.O. If you are a fan of captivating folk tales, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment for more stories like this. This one is called Ima, the love that stayed. They said she was cursed. Not loud, not directly, but they whispered behind closed doors. The elders would sigh and shake their heads when they saw her pass. Mothers pulled their children away gently, as if sadness could spread like dust in the wind. Ima, Beauty, as her grandmother called her, was born on a thunderstorm night, the kind of night the old women said opened the doors between worlds. Her mother died giving birth to her, and Daddy disappeared weeks later into the forest for hunting and never came back. She was raised by her grandmother, Mama I.P.O, who believed in spirits, in omens, in silence. Never call to the wind, she told Ima. Spirits listen. Ima listened too. She learned to stay quiet, stay small, stay out of the way. She stopped talking at school. She stopped going to church. And eventually, she stopped dreaming. But loneliness, it has a way of growing wild. Even when you try to bury it, it locks your ribs like a cage, and your voice becomes a quiet prayer that seems like no one is listening to. Years passed. Ima, now 21, lived in a small hut her grandmother left behind after her passing. The villagers still avoided her politely, with nervous smiles and quick steps. She was a whisper wrapped in mystery, silent as the moon, barefoot as if earth had climbed her, and forever gazing towards the trees as though they held the secrets to her soul. One night, heavy with the weight of another worthless day, she sat outside with her knees to her chest. Her heart ached in places she couldn't name. She shut her eyes and released a single, slow whistle. A long, fragile note, broken and hollow. Suddenly, the air grew thick. The trees seemed to stop moving, and her candles went off in the silence. A flash appeared before her, soft at first, like heat of the earth. Then it took shape, a glowing figure with deep, quiet eyes, and a calm presence that felt like a memory. You called me, he said. Ima's eyes widened. She didn't run. She felt no fear, only wonder. How? She asked. With your heart, it answered. From that night on, spirits began to come when she whistled. One was a playful child, giggling as he floated over her garden. Another was a woman with fire in her hair, singing songs from a forgotten time. They didn't stay long. They came, lingered, and faded like smoke. But each one left behind a strange warmth. Ima began to laugh again, quietly at first. She smiled when no one was looking. Her house began to bloom with life. And then one night, she whistled again. He came, a spirit boy. He was different, no glow, no laughter, just shadows and eyes full of storms. He watched her like he knew her secrets. You have been calling too often, he said. Are you angry? No, he whispered, just curious. He didn't disappear. Day after day, he stayed. Ima learned his name was Mosep. He said it is like a whisper wrapped in pain. He spoke of his life long ago, a time before the village forgot his name. He had lived not far, in a small compound swallowed by forest now. He was a boy who once believed love could save him. He died chasing it. I walked through rain and fire for her, he said, but she never waited. He laughed bitterly. I died with hopes still burning in my chest. Emma touched the space beside him. He told her about the world between worlds, the weightlessness of it, how nothing there held meaning until she called him. I started remembering, he told her, because of you. She made him a woven bracelet of dry grass and red thread. He wore it even though it slept through his wrist. She once asked him if he could touch anything. He reached for a flower and smiled sadly. Emma began to dream of him, of his hands in hers, of his laughter in her ears. Her chest bloomed with love and also fear, because he was not real and she was falling in love with a ghost. Emma started avoiding the mirror. When she looked, she saw a girl suspended in a world too quiet, too soft. A girl who had given her heart to someone who could never hold it. One evening, they danced. No music, just movement, in the forest clearing behind her home. Lit by fireflies and moonlight. She spun as he followed. She could feel his presence like wind against her skin. She closed her eyes and pretended he was solid. She whispered, "What will we be if you were alive?" The next day, she woke with tears on her cheeks and a dream of his kiss. The signs came slowly. The forest grew still. Her whistle no longer called any spirit. The air around Mosep shimmered more often. "You are fading," Emma said. He nodded. "I think I stayed too long." "Then stay longer," she said. "I want to, but I'm not meant for here. I'm beginning to forget again. Even your name." She held on to him with her eyes. "Then let me remember for both of us." He smiled. "I already loved once and lost. But this, what I feel with you, is deep. And maybe that means I have to let you go." She kissed her palm and pressed it to his chest. Her voice cracked. "I love you." His own voice trembled. "And I finally found what I died searching for." The wind rose. The leaves circled them. His body shimmered like morning mist. Then he was gone. And the night was so quiet. Emma stopped whistling. She swept the compound, baked yam pies, and tended her garden. She even began helping an old woman in the village with herbs. People still whispered, but she didn't care. One bright afternoon, by the river, she had a laugh that knocked the breath out of her chest. She turned and saw him. Not Mosep, but a boy, human, flesh and blood, laughing as he tried to catch a fish with his bare hands. His laugh was sunlight. His face was familiar. He looked up and saw her. "Hi," he said, walking closer. "Do I know you?" Her breath caught. I think," she began. "In another life." He smiled. "I'm Itode." "I'm Emma." They sat by the river for hours, talked about everything and nothing. Itode was clumsy, bold, curious, the kind of person who made you feel like time was laughing with you. The following day, he gently offered to carry her firewood. He appeared with a basket of wild mangoes. their sweet scent lingering between them like a promise. They crafted a canoe side by side, their laughter mixing with soft whispers of the wind, creating a melody only they could hear. And slowly, her heart opened again. Sometimes, when he smiled, she could swear she saw Mosep's quiet sorrow behind it. The way he tilted his head, the way he listened without interrupting. One night, under the stars, Itode asked her, "Have you ever loved someone who wasn't meant to stay?" Emma looked at him for a long time. "Yes," she answered. He didn't ask more, just reached out for her hand. His touch was warm, real. Her finger curled around his. She closed her eyes, and for a moment she swore she felt two hands in hers, one from a memory and one from now. The months passed like the rivers, slow and steady, sometimes wild, sometimes calm. Itode stayed. He helped Emma mend the roof when the rains came. He painted the old hot walls with bright colors, laughing as he got more paint on himself than on the walls. He planted her favorite scent leaves beside the yam mold. He built her a bench under the almond tree where they sat in the evenings, shoulders touching, their words soft. He learned how she liked her tea, barely sweet, with a pinch of ginger. She learned how he likes his silence, gentle, not heavy, shared, not lonely. And sometimes, when he'd catch her staring quietly at the woods, he wouldn't ask any questions. He would just take her hand, warm and solid, and wait. He never asked her about the spirit boy, though he must have felt the shadow of him. Instead, he became the light that made the shadow soft. One evening, as the fireflies began to rise and the wind hummed through the trees, Itode brought her something wrapped in palm leaves. "What is it?" Emma asked, raising an eyebrow. "Open it." Inside was a thin bracelet woven with dry grass and red thread. Her breath caught. "How did you?" "I don't know," he said. "I just felt like I was supposed to make it. Like I remembered it from somewhere I've never been." She cleared her throat and smiled, tears in her eyes. She tied it on her wrist, next to the faded one she never removed. And that night, beneath a sky heavy with stars, he kissed her for the first time, slowly and tender, as if he could feel the echoes of all she had lost, and knew he was the one she was finally ready to find. They built a home together, not just a home, but a place where laughter filled the air and magic stayed in every corner. Emma taught children to make whistles from reeds that could call the rain. Itode carved canoes, told stories by the fire, and danced with her under the moon. Their hands and hearts moved as one. Together, they made peace with the past. Together, they stayed. And though Emma never whistled for spirits again, sometimes in her dreams, a quiet boy named Mosep stood at the edge of the forest, a soft smile on his lips, whole and at peace, melting into the wind like a whispered promise. Love had found his way back, not as a ghost, but as a man who stayed. And this time, Emma didn't have to let go. And that's a wrap for tonight's tale. If it stirred your heart, sparked your imagination, or simply helped you drift, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more smooth stories. I am Sensei I.P.O, signing off until next time. Stay curious, stay cozy, and keep dreaming.